Welcome, welcome masculine, feminine. I'm your key. As we go in through the doorway as the Trinity, we enter not only rediscovering who we are, but realizing where we're about to go. So, let us begin in where we left off. For masculine, feminine, and the soul, which is now me as the key. Let's begin. Masculine. Now that he's equated as the Queen of Water, and he understands the Seven of Water, which connects him to his identity. Let's find out, how does he feel about it, and how does it connect to the feminine and the soul in their role. Masculine, how do you feel being the Queen of Water with the Seven of Water as your direction? Well, I realized that as the Queen of Water, that means this is an element that I'm not used to sharing about myself. As a masculine, as the man, entering the doorway, I've been the king of fire, where my actions have led me to successful moments, yet it didn't feel like it was anchored. At times it was anchored, but not the way I really felt inside for it to be. As a masculine, as the man, I've also been the king of air. I know what it means to use my first house again through my actions to communicate who I am, what I do desire, and my actions. I connected to, as the king of air, 7 countries, really influenced by 8. Eight countries to train in using and how to use my actions in a communicating form as well. Yet, to be a queen of water, that requires emotions. And as a masculine energy, I'm all about action. I'm all about communicating. But in communicating my emotions, that's something new for me. Yet I understand why I was given this position, this role, this experience to walk through. When it comes to tying into my 7 of water, not only am I experimenting, practicing my intuition, but to have my emotion guide me, for me to say, my seven of water as a masculine energy and teaching me how to be a queen of my emotions stem from the 7 journeys I had in walking the 7 emotions, universal human emotions: anger, sadness, happiness. It continues on. Yet to see that as a strength, that's something I gotta figure out. And I see that walking through the 7 universal human emotions will require me to be more honest with myself. And that's something that I'm intrigued to find out more of. Because this understanding of the 7 emotions, the human emotions, 7 steps or 7 stages of the human emotion, will help me build a solid foundation, not just for now, but also for my future. Feminine, how do you feel of understanding that you're not just a page or a person, but you are indeed a personnel for the queen, for the people? How do you feel about that? Let's see. Well, understanding now that I'm not just a person, but a personnel, it helped me to see that personnel is very powerful in itself. That would mean that I'm connected to organizations, or that organizations such as the Queen of Water, the Queen of Emotions and Intuitions, need my personal pages of understanding that I learned from the 8 of Earth. As a personnel, I'm still connected to the people and to higher ups. I'm connected to 2 worlds. And for that, I didn't realize that being connected to 2 worlds will get me closer to the spousehood that I always felt and knew, but in a deeper manner. And for me to understand that, I had to go into the moon of myself. So finding out what nurtured me and the feelings caused by my actions stem from the 8 of Earth. Just like my masculine counterpart, my 8 of Earth comes from the 8 ways I help the environment. And for me, being more skilled in learning the 8 ways to help the environment will get me closer to not just spousehood, but to the authority figure that I knew and now know more deeply, to be rooted in how I feel about the environment. I am the page of water. I am the personnel of the waters. Just like my masculine, my queen. I know how to use my intuition, not just from the waters, by communicating to the mammals and creatures of the waters, but by practicing my skills in the 8 ways I connect to the environment has helped me to be a personnel to the lands, to the mammals and humans as mammals on land. And by studying more of the 8 ways I can help the environment has shown me that I'm actually more powerful than I realized. And having a purpose in helping the environment in 8 ways and being more skilled by learning more that I can about helping the environment in 8 ways will change my perception of being a personnel to a pioneer. And a pioneer is all about, yes, studying their craft, but utilizing it on Earth. And that's what I plan on doing. Soul, which is me, the key that you use to enter the doorway. How does my soul react to being the 10 of Earth and having a present and a future gift as food and hunger? Well, as a key, I feel honored to be in the 10th house of Capricorn. That lets me know as not just a key, but as an actual soul in a human body, that I have the capability to be the boss of my environment. Yet I had to figure out what will make me feel and know, believe and know that I am the boss of my own environment, or the boss of, yes, my environment. How can I figure that out? I had to realize what gives me food and hunger. What gives me a foundation and a hunger to pursue it? And going into the house of Gemini, finding that information to explain and the communication about it. As a Taurus, I've always valued self-love and core values that connect to a human being standard. But I would have to admit, as a soul, how does that influence my world? That's my beautiful daughter. She's sleeping, but she likes to sniffle because she doesn't like to blow her nose. Hold on. Crystal, blow your nose. Let me see if I can open the window for her. Hold on. Yes. What gives me purpose to be in the house of Capricorn, to be the boss of my environment? I would have to admit by speaking that I'm all about family as well. Not just my family and making a happy family life, but helping families outside of myself, communities, to have a happy family life. And the way into walking that path would be to show the 10 ways of entrepreneurship in my world. I am an entrepreneur. I am a freelancer in every word. Everything that has breath to me is an art. And to make that as an entrepreneurship that can also be useful for not just my environment, but for others, gives me a solid foundation and gives me food and nourishment and the hunger to make that a reality. So, now that we all, masculine, feminine, soul, confessed outside of ourselves how each role really does influence our waking life, let's see what is the next revelation and review. Let's see. God, Gaia, God, Goddess, Mother, Father, what should masculine, feminine, and soul of mine should know emotionally, energetically for the day ahead? What should the masculine, feminine, and soul of mine know in walking emotionally, energetically for the 13th to the 14th of December? Okay. What does the masculine, feminine, and soul wants to receive as a present gift to use in the now and for the future? What present gift can the masculine, feminine, and soul use in the now? What karma can lead or give a beacon of focus for masculine, feminine, and soul? What karma, or I should say direction, okay, masculine, they want to fly off of you. Okay, feminine, what direction is to be led? What identity wants to be used in this direction? Okay. So let's see. Masculine. What can help you? Wow. Emotionally, energetically, what can help you to unlock and stand in the 7 stages that you have learned, masculine, as the human emotions, is by going within, using the moon. You know, masculine, by your own words, how to navigate through actions. Now it is asking you emotionally, energetically, to use actions based on your emotions. What your emotions, what does your intuitions lead you to act on or to reveal about walking through those 7 stages of the human emotions? Anger, happiness, fear, disgust, surprise, sadness, contempt, has helped you in being the queen. Seeing how those 7 stages of a universal human emotion, mind you, masculine, you have already endured the 7 universal human emotions. See how you can use that to your benefit in being the queen of your domain. Yes, you already are a king, but to be a queen of your emotions, that will be that other half of you. You are the sun. Now you must be the moon. Your feminine counterpart can help you because she already experienced what tapping into her moon side requires. As learning through the feminine masculine, nourish your intuition. See how your intuition gives you the feeling or causes you to react. A reaction is a conclusion or equation of action. In order for you to react, you would have to, masculine, already experience actions before. If I hit myself, my reaction would be to hurt. You're seeing how these two aspects have led you or can lead you in becoming more grounded in your emotions and more stronger in your intuition, and how you can utilize the moon, masculine, from the present gift to yourself that you could use not only in the now but in the present and the future, is by knowing that you are connected to Egypt. I felt that in my mind's eye when you was explaining to us being also the king of air. As the king of air, connecting to 8 countries is like connecting to the 8 countries in Africa, right? 8 countries in Africa. As the king of air, those were the 7 places to help us cultivate all around the world, even influence how we cultivate in the United States. And that's a huge deal. For example, Uganda, Algeria, Sudan, Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Egypt. Masculine, from you communicating to those places as a king at one point, now you can go back to those same regions of yourself and tap into your intuitions and your emotions and how you learned how to communicate to 8 countries in Africa, or just simply 8 countries that you connect to. It started first in Egypt. It started first in Africa, masculine, and you know this. This is why you mentioned to the feminine counterpart about the Atlantic. You have been the king of not just the Atlantic Ocean, but you learned it from being exposed by the Pacific Ocean, being connected to the waters, the streams, the riverbank of Egypt, the Nile River, has showed you what it means to be of community service and how to cultivate countries. And what can you use as a karmic core or identity, masculine? Wow, that makes sense by tapping into the 10th house like your key had to do in soul form. You are stepping into the house of Capricorn. You are becoming your own boss. And what way do you want to become the boss will require you, masculine, to tap into the moon side of yourself, your intuition. You're connected to the 8 countries of Africa. You always have been. That is your present gift that you could use not just in the now but in the future. Is by showing your responsibility, masculine, spiritually, mentally, by showing how successful you are in connecting to your universal emotions and helping you to expand your knowledge. And physically, you will become that person of power and status. Female, how are you feeling emotionally and energetically from now to the 14th of December 2018? feminine, emotionally, energetically. Wow. Now you see you are a personnel, all right? Because now you're stepping into the queen of air. Just like the masculine, he knew through actions how to be the king of air, how to communicate to the 8 countries of Africa, and how those influences expand his knowledge to use in helping people with their emotions universally. The masculine's path is to help people through their universal emotions. Why? Because he is very skilled at that. You, my dear, you, madam, you are feminine, the queen of communications. Just like your masculine counterpart. You know how to show your independence now. You know how to use your experience in a realistic fashion. And you're becoming more witty about your purpose. You know you hold the key to your universe. You hold the key to not just your world, but to the world abroad, to other worlds around you. And worlds around you, just like the masculine, can also be the 8 countries of not just Africa, but how 8 countries in your world, where you live at, feminine, whoever you are, you know how to communicate to the 8 countries of your world. Whether that means the Netherlands, whether that means Ireland, Egypt, England, Britain, anywhere. Who you are as a personnel feminine has taught you that you can communicate not just to your community, but to communities abroad, and showing others how to become more independent and how to be experienced, or how to use their experience in this world to be seen as independence. And the way that you're going to use your emotions as a present gift to yourself that you can use in the now and for the future, feminine, makes sense. We are the Trinity of warriors. And in order for us to recognize that we are the Trinity of warriors, feminine, you're taking on the role of knighthood. You're showing both me as the soul and the masculine counterpart. What does it mean to be a knight? What does it mean to be loyal to your purpose? What does it mean to be humble to your passion? You're reminding us, what does that look like in the physical? How you're going to be showing your knighthood is by revealing the 8 ways in which you help the environment, feminine. What are the 8 ways in which you have helped the environment? What are the 8 ways in which you can be an entrepreneur? What ways have you been a personnel for the waters? And being the 8 of earth would mean that you know 8 ways to help the environment. And if feminine, you know 8 ways in helping the environment, that will be your ticket in becoming an authority figure. And before becoming an authority figure, you're stepping into a knight. If we are playing chess, you started off feeling like a pawn, but you're realizing you're upgrading yourself as a knight. And if you're a knight, then that means you're getting closer to understanding that each piece on the board is a powerful position that you can utilize in your waking life. How can you use this knowledge in the now? is by being in the third house. Just like your soul, just like the key, me being the key in your soul, soulmate. You're seeing how stepping into the third house, I had to do in the spiritual world. For you, feminine, you're doing it by action. And how you're going to be a knight is by spiritually making the right connections. Who do you know in your waking life that connects to how you do help the environment? It's 8 ways that you have helped the environment for 8 years of your life. Going back and setting those roots, tapping into the moon. What are the 8 ways you have nurtured the environment? Will be the very ways in which you can become an authority figure and a spouse to your counterpart. Mentally, feminine, what is the idea in the question that you ask yourself in showing loyalty and dedication to your purpose? When you are doing that, feminine, physically by action, you will get your ideas going, because it will be people, when you connect to them, will be willing to help you on that journey, will be willing to fund you for what you feel passionate about through your actions. In the third house is ruled by Gemini, and Gemini is all about communication, which you are realizing, which your masculine counterpart has already experienced and endured before. Now, as the queen of air, as a communicator of your purpose, of your passion, it will give you the connections you need to move even closer to your path as a pioneer. Soul of mine, what am I feeling and can be used emotionally, energetically from the 13th to the 14th of December? Is becoming that anchor of communication. And that is understood. I've already used or seen how my spirituality connects to how I want to help not only my family but other families, and how I have helped families and friends throughout the 10 years of my life, and how I can use that now as an environment, a manifestation to being a boss. I emotionally, energetically, as the soul, can use opportunities to communicate. Seeing the brilliant new ideas and inspiration as an anchor, not just for myself, but for others. How can I be that anchor of communication in my present gift to myself, or my present ability that I could use in the now and in the future? Is that realizing I am the medicine man and woman. Being a medicine man and woman would mean I would have to admit to myself more openly and communicate that shaman side of myself. I'm all about candles. I'm all about sage. I'm all about dream interpretations. I'm all about namesakes and seeing how your name influences your actions in the not spiritual world only, but in the physical world. And how it has, the knowledge that I have obtained for 10 years has truly influenced and helped others. I would have to go back to interview people or ask for their testimony to see indeed how my influence has helped people in their lives, to make my purpose and passion as being an entrepreneur in this environment or in this world even more of an endurance and experience. Being a medicine man and woman will help me to walk with you, masculine and feminine, karmically, by tapping into my spiritual world in the 7th house of Libra, my not self. For 10 years, I've had learned from other people, masculine and feminine, in helping to heal and love. Now, I must go back to see how helping others have spiritually gave me or gives me more balance in my life. How helping others, and that would make sense being a 10 of earth, the boss of environment will require you to be of assistance, to be of an advisor of the environment. I'm going to start spiritually seeing how it has mentally made me think of creating a corporation. Again, I would have to admit as a soul in a human form that I want to make a corporation. For 10 years of my life, I've worked for different companies and organizations to not just have it as a job or to make money, but each job that I have ever experienced, I've been a librarian before, feminine. I've worked in 92nd Street Y Library. I worked in the Mid-Manhattan Library. My mother, when alive, has worked in the Schomburg Library and has helped me to research better. I can say I also in the environment have been experiencing customer service. So I know what it feels like to be a personnel, feminine, masculine. I know how it means to use the king of communication and how to connect people to ways to cultivate their lives. So, again, I would have to openly admit that I like to be a freelancer. Even in my waking life, I teach, I sing, I dance. These are things that I love to do, but I also teach others in different ways in my environment. But now, physically, in a spiritual way, I would have to show my partners in those facets. So, until we meet again, masculine, feminine, soul, we're walking in not just the Trinity of a warrior, but seeing how our influence being a warrior can help us withstand any wars in life, because we experience wars in our lives, universal wars, universal truths about not just ourselves but others. And now we're seeing how we can use those universal knowledge in our waking life. I love you, masculine. I love you, feminine. I love you, soul. Till we meet again, Trinity. Trinity. We hold the key to not just our destiny, but to our destination. As we exit the doorway, let us be reminded